Uh-huh. Festival of Lights, my ass. Thread. So Diwali or Deepavali is one of the most popular Hindu festivals celebrated for different reasons across regions. In northern India, it marks Rama's return to Ayodhya after defeating Ravana, the king of Lanka, as told in Ramayana. In western India, it honors Vishnu's victory over the quote unquote demon king Bali. In eastern India, it's associated with goddess Kali defeating evil forces. In southern India, it can mark Krishna's defeat of Naraskura, another quote unquote demon king. It is believed that the festival symbolizes the triumph of light over darkness and good over evil. This is from Prudy Ray. So why is it a festival against indigenous people? Is this the next one? Yes. Why is it a festival against indigenous people? Adivasi, Dalit, and Dravidian movements interpret the mythological narratives differently, seeing them through the lens of caste, ethnicity, and power. Here are the main arguments. Rama versus Ravana as a civilizational conflict. It's argued that Ravana was not a quote unquote demon, but a Dravidian or indigenous king, ruling Lanka, Elam, in some retellings located in South India or Sri Lanka. The Ramayana portrayal of Ravana and his people as Rakshasas, demons, is interpreted as a symbolic demonization of indigenous or non-Vedic peoples by the Aryan settlers. Wow, we're getting into the root of it here. Rama's victory is not seen as good over evil, but as the conquest of indigenous peoples by invading or dominant groups. I liked like all of these tweets because I had learned a lot here. So again, why is it a festival against indigenous people? Mythic quote unquote demons are coded descriptions of indigenous tribes. Many so-called quote unquote asura, quote unquote rakshasa, or quote unquote daitya figures in Hindu mythology have been reinterpreted by anti-caste and indigenous thinkers. I believe this is anti-caste, anti-indigenous thinkers as representations of local tribes or pre-Vedic cultures who resisted Aryan expansion. Thus, celebrating their defeat through festivals like Diwali can be to some like celebrating the suppression or erasure of indigenous cultures. Caste and cultural dominance. The dominant Diwali narrative often centers on upper caste, North Indian, Hindu Brahminical values, sidelining the diverse ways other communities mark the same time of year. Dalit and Adivasi groups instead commemorate Ravana or Mahishasura as heroes, resistors of Brahminical domination. Alternatives or counter celebrations. In parts of India, especially in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and among Ambedkarite or Adivasi activists. See, I'm very American. Please pardon my accent. Among these activists, people hold Ravana Dahan protests or Mahishasura Martyrdom Day, reclaiming these figures as symbols of indigenous pride. These reinterpretations challenge the hegemonic Hindu Brahminical narrative and assert that light over darkness is not a universal moral dichotomy, but a reflection of who gets to define good and evil. That's okay. Thank you. I appreciate you pardoning my accent. Like I said, I'm learning. I hope to learn Tamil. I'm slowly learning. I have an app. I need to be more studious. Maybe I need to set a schedule. But yeah, I need to practice with my mom too. This is very important to me. But yeah, this is very much a like history is written by the victors, right? This is what this whole thing is talking about. And Chatter, thank you so much for reminding me of this. I think I'm gonna try and put this on my YouTube because, like I said, I had never even heard about this, and I'm learning about this. It's this is the first time in my life. This Diwali was the first time in my life I had ever heard of this. Ever. It's very shocking to me. It's very awesome to me that I had never heard of this. So last, I have the numbers here. The 6 of 6. Calling Diwali a quote festival against indigenous people is not the mainstream view. but it's a critical reinterpretation from those who see the mythological stories as representing the historical conquest and marginalization of indigenous, Dravidian, and non Vedic peoples. It's less about opposing the idea of light or joy, and more about questioning whose story gets celebrated and who gets labeled as evil. P.S. Nothing says Festival of Light like choking the neighborhood in smog and scaring every animal within a 10-kilometer radius. Yeah, they're saying the fireworks are so loud, the smoke and all of this. It's a bit over the top if you ask me too. Mythological stories are always crap trash stories. North Ram killing South Tamil King. Yeah. Yeah, that's what this is talking about, huh? That's what this story is, huh? And they call him a demon. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. I'd really like to learn about the what do you call this? The way people in the South actually celebrate this. This is very fascinating to me. Myths, but even though that doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah. It's I really see it as like the history is written by the victors kind of situation, right? It's like the American story of like, oh, we came to America and they sugarcoat the killing all of the indigenous people in America and spreading their settlements and this and that. But it's a like a mythology. It's an American mythology of okay, like everyone's happy, everyone came here, and rails were made and everyone was happy, and factories were made and everyone was happy, and then we made cars and everything was honky dory. There's a American mythology that is very similar to this. I feel like maybe it's different. They have the Fourth of July fireworks. They have a completely different kind of celebration. But this is so fascinating to me, and I really will clip this into a YouTube video. I'm gonna put this on my YouTube because, like I said, I had never even heard of this at all until this past Deepavali. Like, what was it? A week ago? 2 weeks ago? I don't know what the time is anymore. It's it's hard to keep track. All the news keeps changing. A different thing every single day. But I'm so glad that you mentioned that, and that I was able to find this and kind of revisit it on stream. I had quietly learned this by myself, but yeah, I want to uh, make this public, make this something everyone can hear, and amplify this. Put this on my YouTube so maybe someone else can see it. Yeah, 2 weeks ago now. Yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness, time is flying.